Constructing parallel lines. To construct parallel lines, you actually use one of the 6 basic constructions. So we've learned those 6 basic constructions. And so we will take one of those constructions and apply it with theorems that we know about parallel lines to do this construction. All right, so you should have already written on your paper line L with point P not on L, and we want to construct M, that's line M, parallel to line L. So we need on our paper line L and then a point not on L. Previously, we've been drawing our lines horizontal. I want you definitely to turn your ruler, and we're going to draw a line at a slant, okay? This is going to be our line L. And then it says a point P that is not on L. Now, that just means, not there. And I want you to move over in this area somewhere and just put a point P. Okay? So we have line L and point P not on L. Give you a chance to get that done. Okay, we talked as we did some of the previous constructions about visualizing where the answer is. Here's line L, and we're looking for a line parallel to that passes through P. So you see I'm carefully moving my compass as a line, as example of a line, parallel to L, keeping it parallel to L, and I need it to go through P. So I'm looking for a line about where I have the compass now. Does that make sense? Does that seem right? That's my answer. But again, you can't just go there, let's draw it, and we're done. This is a construction. It has to be done precisely and using previous theorems and stuff to make sure it's true. All right, so previously we have done a lot with parallel lines, but every time we did them, we had what was called a transversal. I'm going to use this pen. It's not as thin as that ruler there, but to represent a transversal. We would get a transversal, and then we would have alternate interior angles. We would have corresponding angles, alternate exterior, same side interior, and all that good stuff. Okay? Well, we are going to visualize where a transversal would intersect line L and the new line in purple, but it needs to pass through P. So I'm looking at where I could see that could be a transversal where the black pen is. I want to draw that line. You can draw it at any angle. It goes through P and intersects L, and again, see, I can change the angle I have it go through L. So if I want it to look like that looks like right angles, kind of. This is, again, some acute and obtuse. Okay, that's getting more acute there. I kind of like that. So I'm going to use a blue pen and draw in a transversal. You actually just choose a transversal you want to. Draw a line that intersects L passing through P. That's going to be our transversal. Now again, let's visualize, what am I after? See, I'm after this line that's parallel to L passing through P. But notice now, there's 4 angles here, and I can visualize where there should be 4 angles right there around P. Yes? You with me? And we would have corresponding angles. So this little acute angle right here I'm pointing at should be congruent to this little acute angle right here as corresponding angles. Or if you like obtuse angles, then this corresponding one underneath would be congruent to the one underneath here. And then possibly you could actually use alternate interior angles, because this little acute angle right here would be alternate interior to this one. Okay? Personally, I think I'm going to use this acute angle with this acute angle. And you almost have to visualize, okay, where are they? Those are the 2 I'm after. I'm going to call this vertex right here Q. So we are going to work on this angle 1 right here and make a congruent angle right in this direction, and that will give us our parallel. Okay? Now what I'm seeing is I'm probably going to need more of this little blue line right here going that way, so I'm going to extend it while I'm visualizing what I'm doing. And I'm going to pause and let you catch up. That little arrow there doesn't mean anything. I'll add another one out there. Okay? We are about to construct congruent angles. I'm going to construct this angle right here, which will then create a line, and that line is going to end up being parallel. When we get done, you'll see them, okay, if you can't visualize them yet. So follow me. Everybody got your line through P, and you labeled that intersection Q, okay? Focusing on this angle only, I'm going to put my favorite arc at Q. Okay, and I need to cross both sides out here. There's my favorite arc at Q. I now need my favorite arc at P, and it needs to go in the same direction. Okay, so I'm going back toward the left on my paper here with this arc, favorite arc, and it's got to cross the blue line. Okay, I hope that's long enough. And from previous examples, we've got X and Y. And what do you think we're calling this one? You should have that by now. That's Z. Are you beginning to see where the angle is? Here's our first angle, and we're going to construct a congruent angle right here. And when we get it, that second side will end up being the line that's parallel to L. Excuse me. So do you remember what's next? What do we measure? We're going to measure from X to Y. Measure from X to Y. Okay. And now where do I move it? This is kind of tricky because notice how close Q and Z are together. Be sure you aim at the Z. We are going to Z. And I have seen some of you aim getting the end of that arc there. That end of that arc has nothing to do with anything, only where it intersects at Z. Okay, I got it at Z. I'm going to hold it and crisscross here. And now I'm ready to draw the line. The line is going through P and through that point right there. When I get this line, what should it be parallel to? It should be parallel to L passing through P. And if I'm really accurate and very good holding my ruler straight and still, that looks really good, if I have to say so myself. Okay, does everybody see these two corresponding angles here? We constructed congruent. If the corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. That is our theorem that guarantees that this construction was complete and correct. Okay? Very good.